Hi, I'm Stunning Stella Cheeks.
And I'm the Enigma Erin Klein.
And this is
Not Your Demographic.
We used to be a feminist wrestling podcast.
Shockingly, we'd rather talk about literally anything else now.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. We're alive.
For now.
Where to start?
What is even how are you?
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm actually doing okay. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who is a trans woman, and we were both talking, and we are like, it's hard because personally, right now in this moment, I'm actually doing pretty okay, and I'm doing a good job not letting the entirety of the world ruin that for me. But it is an active thing I have to keep doing.
It's hard because I know that we're we've been a very political podcast, and like that's obviously something even up till this episode that we've been very actively involved in. But there's an active coup happening right now, and it's really fucking difficult to live in a country where you're media literate and you know that a coup is happening. Like, it is fucking overwhelming.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's wild. When you read things like international scientists like turning down job offers because, quote, I wouldn't move to 1930s Germany. It's crazy.
That was before 2 days ago. Now the U.S. Treasury is under control of an unelected billionaire. Like, we are experiencing an actual coup.
Yeah.
It's very overwhelming. So we're going to kind of not talk about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll always talk about it without like getting... We might get granular in the future, but like right now, it's, this is whatever. It's been like 2.5 weeks or whatever. And so there's been so much. And, everybody says like that's part of the strategy,
right,
the onslaught, the fire hose. So it's just hard to like pick one thing and be like, this is my rant.
Yeah,
my rant is
real.
This is bad.
Yeah, general rant. Don't like to live through history at all.
Yeah. So this podcast, at least, will not be interrogating the Trump administration. I feel like everybody knows how we feel. We talk about it on Blue Sky and Instagram, and we'll continue to talk about it. And I mean, there's parts of this podcast that will get political, but
today we're not gonna get as granular, I don't think.
Yeah, but if you are a listener and want to talk about something, that's totally chill. You can pop into our Discord and talk with us. You can DM us or whatever. Like, I'm fine with that. I just don't. Because I don't even know what to talk about.
Exactly. Like you were saying, there's just so fucking much. It changes by the hour. It's like, well, I was saying that earlier too. We were talking to producer Bobby about, he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna talk about it. And it's like, what would we, why what would we even pick? Like, it's impossible. And it's just like, yep. It's a thing that we care about and we're very engaged with. But today, while an actual coup is happening, I don't know that I want to talk that much about it. Yeah. Do I need to say that it's bad? I don't think that I do, actually.
Yeah. Okay, well, do you want to just start with rants?
I guess, yeah.
Trigger warning for more medical stuff.
Yeah, for real. I'll just full up medical shit.
I'll tell you right now that both rants are medical.
Do you want to start or you want me to start?
Sure, I have shingles. I'm 35.
I'm so sorry.
In my 35th year of life, I've had a colonoscopy and shingles.
I mean, I've had a colonoscopy too.
Yeah, but it's not that common in younger people.
I know. You're right. It's not.
So, yeah. So, I, on Wednesday, woke up with like a kind of bad headache. I had to cancel my therapy. I went to work, but it was like a struggle. And then I came home and I was like, God, I feel really sick. This migraine won't go away. And I have a family history of migraine. So, I just thought like, I've had one or two in my life, but I was like, here it comes. I'm starting to get them. And then Friday, holy shit, there was like one moment when I was on the ground, literally holding my head, crying because I was like, this is the most pain I've ever been in. Like, I've never had a migraine that made me throw up because it was so painful. And I would just like to say this, not as like a brag or whatever. I have a very high pain tolerance. I've had multiple medical doctors be like, you should be aware of this because my pain tolerance is really high. So when I'm complaining about pain, it's bad. Mm-hmm. Not to be like, I'm Superman. I'm not. Like, I can still feel pain. I'm not like one of those people, but like, I have a very high pain tolerance. And it was like insane. It was like, you know, and they're like, what's the scale of pain? It was like a 10. Like, I didn't have like true like suicidal ideation, but I did have a moment where I was like, I couldn't, like, if I was like, what if this never breaks? Like, I can't live like this because it hurts so much. And then of course I like also noticed I have a history of back acne, so I was like, not really, whatever, but I like noticed like a weird little rash, and I thought, I was like, oh, I have a neck heating pad because obviously I have a lot of heating pads. So I was wearing that, and even though it doesn't get really hot, like you can get like heat rash and stuff from heating pads. So I was like, oh, maybe I give myself heat rash because I've been wearing this one that I don't wear that much. And so I was like, Nick, we have to go to urgent care because I thought you could get fluids at urgent care. Fun fact, you can't. That's bullshit. You should be able to get like dehydration, whatever. It's fine. I'm just mad. It feels like a really simple thing. You should just sit there for like 30 minutes, an hour, get all the fluids instead of having to wait 8 hours at ER. Anyways, that's a different rant. You can't get fluids at urgent care. I think that's a problem. So I went there and I was like, hi, this migraine, like, it'll break for like 10 minutes and then come back. It hurts so much. Also, I've only been taking aspirin because I may or may not be pregnant. So she was like, well, go take a pregnancy test. And I was like, I really don't want to. I wanted to just wait for my period, but I did. And then I wasn't pregnant, which is fine. I did have some relief because I was like, well, now I can take real pain medicine. But the doctor too kept saying, or the nurse practitioner, whatever the head up at urgent care is, truly just kept saying, well, because you're not pregnant. Well, because you're not pregnant. I was like, bitch, I got it the first time. Woof. Thank you. So that sucked. So maybe, you know, work on the bedside manner. But then I was like, oh, also, I have this like weird little rash. I think it might be a heat rash. I pulled down my shirt, and she was like, so that's shingles. You have shingles. So I mean,
imagine if you hadn't, like,
I know, but I'm keyed into what's happening in my body at all times.
Yeah, the pain would have started, or a different pain than the migraine would have started.
Yeah, and so like we caught it really early because I like it, like the day the rash developed, I was like, girl, what is this? So then I got all the shingles antibiotics, and I could take aspirin and stuff, though aspirin and or ibuprofen don't super help because shingles is like nerve pain. And I called my father-in-law who had it, and I was like, hey, can you give me? And he was like, I'm not the one to ask. I had it really bad. I had it for months. And he was like, do you have gabapentins? I was like, actually, I do. Because somebody who shall be nameless gave me a bunch of her gabapentins. So I took some of that. And honestly, like, my headache mostly, my migraine broke. My headache didn't break. Thought it's different. So I mostly just had a headache for a while, and then I had a rash on my chest too, but it never fully developed because I got my antibiotics. But it's just been, I basically haven't left my house for over a week. I'm not contagious anymore, and thankfully where I got the rashes were easily covered. And, you know, just washing my towels all the time. But I'm not contagious anymore because they're like scabbed and healing. I don't have migraines anymore. I get a little bit of nausea still. And it's gnarly. And now I have the like post shingles nerve pain, which just feels like a quick stab from a lightning bolt. And then sometimes will just feel like a massive burning sensation, and it's on my back and goes down my arm. Sometimes it goes into my head, and that can last 1 month to 1 year. Oh, there's not really anything you can do about it except for take gabapentin.
Well, good news.
So, and then I had a mind fuck because I was like, okay, I don't have my period, even though, or I'm not pregnant, even though I still maintain that it was too early to test. I'm not pregnant, but I was like, this feels medically reckless because this is like a week.
Well, there are 2-week tests. You can take them, but they're basically like medical grade. You would only get them in.
But it wasn't in that line, because the 2-week test that doesn't. It was still too early.
I mean, I don't doubt you, but like that was something that they told us when I was pregnant, was like, you can actually tell a lot earlier than they say you can. You just have to get the right kind of test.
Yeah. But do they have the right kind of test at urgent care when they don't even
Great
have
question.
fluids? I don't
Great
think
question.
they do.
Do they not give intravenous drugs at urgent? Is that why?
I guess maybe not. But you can get no because I got my like COVID shots and stuff there.
Yeah, but that's different than like putting an IV in somebody's arm.
Is it? It doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Kaylin is certified to give vaccines and cannot use a port yet. She'll have to be graduated in order to do
Well,
that.
I think that urgent care should have phlebotomists and should have.
Did you just say lobotomists?
Phlebotomists. Phlebotomists. Phlebotomists.
You just looked so forlorn when you said it. I was like, she must have said lobotomist.
Fla. Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, but then my period started today, or I can feel it starting right now. Though, haven't seen blood yet. Told you, trigger warning. I just have all the pre-signs that I normally get, which is my left leg going completely numb. My body is a nightmare.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, my body is a nightmare. There's some kind of nerve in my hip that when it gets any pressure on, if and when I get pregnant, I will have a numb leg for like 9 months. That's something I've just accepted.
Or it'll fix it. That's the thing, right? Your body shifts, and sometimes you just come back.
That
and
would be
you're
amazing,
like, right? Like, oh shit, okay, that's nice.
What was I saying? Oh, so then I wasted a bunch of at-home pregnancy tests because I was like, it's late. I'm gonna have like I took a bunch of medicine that you're not supposed to take when you're pregnant. Oh my god. Well, anyways, it's been a pretty cool time with shingles. Bonus, I watched a lot of Critical Role. I finished a couple books because once my headache broke, I was like, oh, I can read again. Mm-hmm. So I've finished a couple books, actual books, not just comics. So I guess that's good. I didn't have to go do anything, which was nice.
Yeah.
There were some things I had to cancel that I wanted to do, and other things that I was like, So, I mean, shingles is a pretty solid excuse.
Yeah. Also, people are like, how old are you?
Most people, it's funny because most people know that, oh, shingles is painful, but like don't actually understand. I think shingles is painful, and if I didn't have my high pain tolerance, I probably would be in more pain than I am. I'm just used to like a daily low level amount of pain. So every once in a while I'll just go and then be like over it.
It's interesting to watch you because like I can never tell when you're getting chronic pain because you obviously can both control it and mask it because you're so used to it. This is just it's when you randomly all day going and then like being in a really awkward position. That's the other thing. I'm like, what is happening with your shoulder?
Yeah. So anyways, I have shingles. Turns out you can get them from, but that's the thing too. I don't even know where I got them. Like, I had chicken pox. I theoretically haven't been around anybody with shingles, and it sounds crazy to say because the state of the world, also the state of how I normally am. But like, I've been doing a lot of work therapy wise, whatever lately. And I like personally do not feel that stress, but it also could be one of those things where your body's like, oh, you're calm now. Slam.
Yeah, that's what Pizzazz and I were saying. It's like, your body finally had the moment to be like, oh no, because like you weren't exposed to someone else. It exploded out of your body from stress.
I'm handling my stress really well.
Well, now you have shingles. And you are handling the stress from that very well also.
It is nice that I have like set up little areas in my house. Like, Erin came down in the basement because that's where the podcast studio is, and like you could see like my little sick like hovel on the couch of all my blankets and pillows and whatever. But I had a chance to play some Baldur's Gate, so that was fun because I only play every once in a while. I let Astarion ascend, even though I hate him, and then I killed him immediately. I was like, well, I let him ascend because, like, if you let him ascend, then all of the vampires in the city basically get murdered, which is, like, bad, I guess, but they're bad, right? They're vampires, so... And then he was, like, kind of a mouthy bitch afterwards. And he didn't even get that big of a buff. And I was like, oh, you're not like crazy strong now, but you're supposed to be like this ascended vampire. And then you immediately run into a bunch of monster hunters and they're like, you made a terrible decision. And then she looks to you and is like, you still have time to make a good decision. And I was like, okay. So I murked that bitch. I've killed Astarion many times.
That's really funny.
Everybody loves that little vampire boy. I think the acting is good and I think whatever, but like, I did let him die. Or I don't let him die. I murdered him. They straight up killed him twice. And then everybody in your camp is like, wow, it really sucks that we had to do it to him, but it was the right thing to do. And I was like, I literally, because I am a charlatan, that's like one of my subclasses, I inspired myself by lying to him and murdering him. So I got bonus points for murdering him.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, so I had a chance to do that. Now I have to fight Erin, which is apparently a really hard battle. I've been playing this game almost for a year because I started on my birthday last year, which is February 28th, and I am not close to winning or beating it.
I've only played 15 minutes of it past character creation.
Yeah, I want to finish this one just because I do like my character, and now I'm very morally gray, and I'm just like, whatever. But I let Gale die. I didn't know how to get him. And I let Lae'zel die. I didn't know how to get her. And Halsin is kidnapped. I let Jaheira die. I killed Minthara. And I killed Asterion. So I only have 3 companions. And you're only allowed to have 3 companions in your camp. So I'm just like, just us guys. And honestly, it's been them the whole time. I don't really play with anybody else. Just me and Karlach and Shadowheart and Will just mucking it up. Not even the strongest people that you can have. And I was like, all right. That's fine. It is very satisfying to kill something that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
Which is dark.
But true.
I mean, he's a fake vampire in a video game.
Vampires suck.
Yeah.
I've never liked vampires. I've never understood the appeal of them. I think they're dreadfully boring. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I used to really, really like them. And they're still
remember.
I love Dracula. That book still fucks. The new Nosferatu movie rules. It's really good. But the thing that I like about the new Nosferatu movie is he's a monster. He's a gross he doesn't when he drinks blood, he doesn't shift into somebody hot. He's like literally full of maggots the whole time, and that ruled. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but vampires are an allegory for sexual assault. They're not super fun and sexy.
Yeah, they're not sexy. Every time people are like, this sexy hot vampire. First of all, they're all twinks, which means I'm not into it.
Same.
Straight up across the board.
Same.
Absolutely the fuck not. Nothing sexy about that. And like, the other thing is, I think I would maybe be more down for vampires if they started today, like we're part of our generation. I know there's a lot of like cultural stuff about that now, but I never want to see a fucking dandy vampire again for the rest of my fucking life.
Interview with a Vampire is a really good show, though.
I'm not interested at all. The only thing I like from it was that screenshot that you sent me of the older man that says, "You and your
He's
dreadful
the interviewer.
You and your dreadful polycule haven't seen the last of me."
I think you actually would like it because it's well acted and they're the bad guys. Like, they suck and they are a dreadful polycule and they acknowledge it. It's funny because Anne Rice was really precious about her shit.
Fuck Anne Rice.
And later became a crazy Christian and whatever.
She sued people for writing fanfic.
Yeah,
she sucks.
But her son, who's in charge of the estate, and the showrunners are like, what if we did this but we're chill? And what if we took the subtext and just made it text? So it is blatantly gay. And so I think the Interview with a Vampire I can get down with in today's world. But I'm just fundamentally not a vampire girly anymore.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I think my problem with Asterion is I don't want a bitchy twink to just be telling me what to do all the time.
No.
No,
fuck that.
If I'm gonna play with one of the mean ones, I'm gonna play with Lae'zel. She's hot. She's a hot alien. Do I want to be yelled at by a bitchy twink vampire or a hot femme alien?
There's not even
no
a choice
contest.
There. No, absolutely not. Fuck that.
No contest. Anyway, so I did that. I killed Asterion. If you kill Asterion earlier, the first time he tries to drink your blood in camp, and you kill him, your camp makes fun of you for being a dumb bitch and letting a vampire into the camp.
Well,
they're like, you let him in here, and you have to be like, I'm sorry, I killed him. Okay, stop bitching at me. He didn't try and bite you. It's very funny. Different vibes.
Hilarious.
Anyways, that's my rant, and then a little bit about Baldur's Gate, which is a game I enjoy, but not at the level that other people enjoy it. Also, Will is the best character, and if you think that he's the worst character, I think that you suck.
I don't know who any of these fucking people are.
Yeah, because you only play it for 15 minutes. Did you even get a I think you met Lae'zel, and you probably met
Perhaps.
Shadowheart.
I
Well,
met
Lae'zel's the girl that, like, Lae'zel's the first one you meet, and she's the one you meet when
you like fly away when the dragons get there or
yeah, and
whatever.
she's like, bitch, come on, get it together.
Yeah, I got a little past that towards the dragons, and then I don't know. I was just like, I really want to be into this, and I just like couldn't keep going.
You
I
don't
will
have to
try
be
again.
into it.
I know.
You can also watch somebody play it.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that my husband is playing it. I'm just making all of the decisions, and like I enjoy that part of it. It's
I enjoy
just
the decisions.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is it's really about the decision making, and like I like that part of it. I just like I haven't found something to care about. It's weird, like.
Well, you're only you haven't met anybody to care about really yet.
Well, right, but you're supposed to, you enter with like, oh, I'm gonna take this brain out of this thing, and then this person shows up, and oh my god, the thing is exploding, and I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I think I do need more context. I just like, I don't know, didn't care.
yeah, I don't know. I think the opening is supposed to be just like very exciting and action packed because a lot of people like action forward games.
Yeah.
And then once you crash, because you do crash, then it's more about like walking around and touching stuff and talking to people. And
Yeah, I know. I'll get there.
just definitely make sure you save Shadowheart because if you don't, then you don't have a healer and you're gonna be fucked.
Yes, you have told me that before.
The first time I tried to free her, I rolled a natural one, and I was like, I guess I have to start this game over. Which is funny. My rule is I will use inspiration. So inspiration is something that like a DM can give you, so you can get a reroll whenever you want.
Mhm.
And in this game, you get inspiration by like doing something, and one of your party members is like, "Wow, yay, you get inspiration!" Or kill somebody, and then you give yourself inspiration. So my rule is I'll do inspiration one time, and if it fails after that, then I just accept what it is. So like I have a bunch I've done a bunch of stuff that people were like, "You did that? You didn't save and go back?" And I was like, "No. I didn't save scrum." So I have evil illithid eyes, and I have like a big giant worm in my head, and I have an evil emperor who kind of wants to fuck me. I usually the way I play is I usually take it like I'll play along and look like I'm about to turn evil, and then right before you like truly turn evil, I go, fuck that, and then I kill the evil guy. But I get all the information first, and then sometimes I kill the people in my party.
Fair enough.
Morally gray.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, it's fun, but I'm not like obsessed with it like other people.
Yeah. Truthfully, too, that turns me off from it. Like,
Yeah.
everyone sucks its dick so hard that it's like, well, if I play it and don't like it, I'm going to get, oh, you're just being contrarian or whatever. And it's like,
No, you can not like things.
yeah.
As long as you don't make other people bad for not liking things.
Wait, what?
If you're allowed to not like things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody likes something a lot that you don't like, you can't be a dick about that.
Oh, yes, of course. No, that's the thing, right?
Well, you say, of course, but
well, some things just aren't for me. That
Yeah.
And like I know that. I was gonna say something, but I won't. I don't want to get into that shit.
I particularly like when everybody has this new fandom, and then I'm like, okay, I'll try it because I love being in fandoms, and we're sitting in a room full of
Just absolutely
just
papered.
chock full of fandoms. I literally have new art to hang up when we're done. But I do feel like an immense amount of relief when I'm like, okay, I'll try it, and I will accept the brainworm if I get it, but I do feel a sense of joy when I'm like, oh, dodge that. I enjoyed it, but I
Yeah.
didn't feel the fan like Our Flag Means Death. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. I thought it was a well-made show. I thought it was really fun, good characters. It did not get me by the fandom balls, and I was so relieved. I was like, oh, thank God, I don't need to do another one. But I was ready. I'm always prepared. Somebody told me to watch Arcane, and I was like, okay. And I watched a couple episodes, and I like it, and I'll keep watching it, but it hasn't got me by the balls. I'm pretty excited about that. I like Baldur's Gate, but I'm not going to probably buy any merch. I buy some stickers, but stickers, basically if I go to like a fan artist booth and they look me in the eyes, I go, okay, I'll buy the sticker.
It's a good sales tactic, I guess.
People work really hard, and I feel bad. And if I spend more than 30 seconds at your booth, I will be giving you at least $5. I don't feel bad. That's not a bad use of my money.
No, not at all.
Anyways, I talked for a long time. What is your rant?
My rant is also medical shit. This last month has been a roller coaster of fucking medical shit for me. I decided before the election, I looked at the calendar, and about a week before the election, I went, I need to get sterilized immediately. Like, it was my panic reaction in the same way that when versus Wade was overturned, I like bought a bunch of Plan B basically to have for me and for whoever needed it, which I did wind up using. But that was my panic purchase, and this was my panic purchase right before the election. I just had an idea.
It's funny to call your tubal ligation a panic purchase.
But it is, right? It totally is. It wiped out my deductible for the year. So it was a panic purchase. Uh, but I scheduled my consultation. I went in right before the election. I told my doctor straight up, I want something that they can't take from me. And she fucking listened. She was like, you clearly mean this. You obviously want this done. You are using language that tells me like you want this now. And she asked me, we were like halfway through the consultation, and she went, okay, I do have to ask you because you're bipolar. Are you having a manic episode right now? And there was a part of me that was like, why would I tell you if I was? I want this done. And if my mania is getting this done, then I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
But I told her, I was like, no, I am like the most stable I've been in maybe my whole life right now. And she was like, cool, let's get you scheduled. And so I went through all of the scheduling. We had to like shove in these appointments. They tried so hard to get me in before the inauguration because I was clearly very concerned about the political implications. And so they slammed my pre-op interview in. They slammed in my anesthesia appointment, and my surgery was supposed to be the 10th, and less than 24 hours beforehand, they canceled it. And it was fucking awful. It was the worst feeling. I told my therapist that part of why I wanted this is because I wanted the agency over my own body. And so to have it canceled, I had already started to do the prep for the surgery.
Yeah, I mean, not to derail your story, but
No.
I didn't do IVF last month because the day before I had to go get checked for everything. And then the night before I got a call and they were like, you are actually ovulating right now. We can't do it. And I was like literally in the middle of watching videos to like remind me how to do the shots. And I have all the shots and stuff. And so like, while mine wasn't necessarily as like intense, it sucks to be like the day before,
right? Like
the day before you tell me you can't.
It's
right.
Because you prep all week, you prep all month.
Yeah, and like not necessarily for you because you really wanted it done, but I'm sure you had to do some of this. But like I had to work really hard mentally to get to a place where I was like gonna accept that that we were gonna do this. I have to get myself shot every day. I talked to people who did IVF. I like worked really hard, and like I finally got to a place where I was like, okay, yeah, I feel good. I feel fine. Let's do it. You know, whatever. Sorry, got to delay it.
Yep, it was brutal. I've never experienced something like I've had stuff changed and like moved around. I've never had something just canceled and like not rescheduled. Nothing, just straight up fucking canceled. And it was like, we'll call you to reschedule. And so then there was just like a week and a half, 2 weeks where I was just in fucking limbo hell, where it was just like, this is never gonna happen. This is horrific. They called me, oh man, I want to say the day after the inauguration, and we're like, let's get you the fuck in. And so they rescheduled it for here's the thing about tubal ligation. You have to go into the hospital 2 hours before, and you have to stop eating an hour before you go in. And so, but you have to fast in the morning. All you're doing is like water and juice or whatever. And like you can drink black coffee. I was like, what? I'm just going to be empty stomach, black coffee all the way deep. And so my original was at like 1:30 and in the afternoon. And they were like, okay, we're going to reschedule. We have these ones. We have this date. And the woman who was scheduling it was like, okay, I'm going to put you on the 30th. There's one in the afternoon. And she went to click on it, and it was already filled. And so she was like, we got to do this right now. And so she scheduled me for the 29th at 7 in the fucking morning. I asked her, I was like, I have to be there at 5, right? And she was like, yeah, you do. And so that was when I started to get nervous. I didn't even have that much time. It was like a week. But I was so fucking nervous it was going to get canceled again. Like, I was just like, I won't believe it until I'm in the fucking room. Like, it was just, again, it was like limbo hell going from I'm in 12 hours, I'm going to have this surgery to an entire block of time of this might just never happen. There was also like from inauguration to the 9 days later that I actually got it done. I was legitimately worried it would become illegal. There was all of the shit that was coming out. It was like, by the time I get to this, will I even be legally allowed to do it?
Yeah.
It was just a terrifying time to be inside of. But I woke up at 3:45 in the morning, and I was like I was so nervous I felt like I was going to barf, because again, I thought I was going to get there and it was going to fucking canceled. So I just popped a gabapentin and was like, I have an empty stomach. I'm chill as fuck right now. And so when I got to the hospital, like, I must have been the first surgery of the day. They fucking got me in and out so fucking fast. It was, I mean, inside of a rant, obviously there's this rave that when they say tubes tied, that's not real. That's not what happens. A tubal ligation means that they put 2 cameras in at your hip bones, and then they go in through your stomach and they remove your fallopian tubes. They're completely gone. There's no chance they can untie or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And so I have I still have the bandages on right now because it's only been a couple days, and I have like a little abdominal discomfort, but like, dude, the turnaround on that, fast. Super fucking fast. 2 days later, I was like, I could get up and move around. It's when I forget that I'm trying to heal that I'll like walk too fast and be like, oops, too much right there. But they're gone. I got a truly disgusting photo of the inside of me. If you don't know what it looks like, it's gross. Don't look if you don't want to know. The diagrams are a fucking lie. That's not what your fucking uterus looks like. It's not even close to what your uterus looks like. I looked at it and was like, how did a baby grow in there? It was like shocking to see from the inside, but they let me keep the photo and I was very excited about it. But like, the process for me was, I was in the room, I got all the shit on. Once I was like in my gown, I was like, okay, very unlikely that it's gonna get canceled now. And like, the rotating staff came in and out. They were fantastic. My doctor came in and was like really, really good about making sure I was like comfortable, whatever. So I'm in my stretcher bed. They like roll me into the OR, the exact same place that I had my C-section. And so I'm looking up at the lights like, oh yeah, I remember these. And then from behind me, someone just reached forward and put a gas mask, like an oxygen mask, and went, we're just going to give you some oxygen. Just take a couple of deep breaths. And I was like, gas mask. I took 3 deep breaths and I closed my eyes and then I opened them and I was in recovery.
Yeah. Anesthesia is the best.
It was fucking awesome. Like, I had to have a breathing tube in and I had, you could have told me that never happened and I'd believe you, because I don't remember it going in. I don't remember it coming out. Like, none of it. So, rant that this had to fucking happen. It was so goddamn difficult to do, but it's fucking done. They can't take it from me. I'm fucking done having children. I will never be pregnant again. I love my child. I don't mean this in a disparaging way to him, but being pregnant ruined my mental health and like maybe my life in many ways. And like, I'm so glad to be stabilized now that I can be at a point where I can be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm absolutely not doing it. Very different journeys.
Very different journeys.
That's my rant. What is your rave?
I'm saying this with a caveat that things change. People turn out to be bad, especially men in power, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I feel like we gotta give a shout out to JB Pritzker.
The only good billionaire.
Jesus, man. He's been working double time. Like, I think honestly, and this is speaking from an immense place of privilege as cis and white and like employed and all of those things. But also speaking from a place of privilege of frankly living in Illinois and living in Chicago. I think that's part of the reason I feel kind of stable, because like my government, my closest government, is actively working very hard to the point where the federal like ICE guy, the border czar, which I feel like we should rename that.
It's always been weird that they're called the czar. It's
super weird.
It's fucking weird.
But that the border czar is like, yeah, Chicago's just too well educated and has really been telling people how to like protect their rights and stuff. So like, it's really hard to work there, and it's like, thanks for the compliment.
And also, like, you didn't fucking know that? You didn't think Chicago, one of the first cities in the country to be like, sanctuary. We're doing the fucking sanctuary thing. Like, did you never read anything about Pritzker? Like, that's what
they don't think they did.
Yeah, I guess not. Like, Pritzker was like he is a great governor, and flaws and all. Like, I know that there are things that
nobody is perfect. No politician is perfect. And if it comes out in 10 years that he like murdered a bunch of people, I'll be like, bad guy. But like, as it
depending
stands,
on who.
well, yeah, true. If he pulls a Luigi, I'll be like, best guy. I don't know.
Maybe the best one.
What if JB Pritzker just buys us all guillotines? Like, that's the way.
Direct action.
He said, look, I know I got a lot of money and I know that I should technically be under this blade, but what if I purchase the blade for you?
Yeah, right? Like, okay, maybe if I'm really nice about it, you won't eat my face afterwards.
I'll provide the plates on which you can eat the rich. That's the vibes JB Pritzker is giving.
Mm-hmm. JB Pritzker also seems like somebody, I mean, again, we don't know him personally, but like, he also seems like the only billionaire that if we did truly start taxing them out of billionaire existence, like, I think it would be okay.
Yeah.
First of all, he's rich as fuck from his family. And also, like, take $990 million away and he'll be fucking fine.
Yeah, he'll be rich still. So, yeah, I don't know. It feels weird to be like, good job. I mean, he put in that like whatever the equivalent of like governor executive order that was like, if you participated in January 6th and that is a known fact, you cannot work in Illinois government. Like, yeah, of course, 100%.
Duh. They did a coup. They did the first half of the coup.
Yeah. So shout out to good governors.
Yes.
There's like a couple holding it out. We have Gretchen, we got Tim, we got
right?
JB, and they're really struggling right now.
Yeah. Someone please help them out.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, speaking from an immense like place of privilege, but like at least there's a few people on the political front line being like, no.
Right?
Actually, no.
You can't do that, and I'm going to make sure you can't do that, actually. Yeah. Instead of being like, I don't know, 100% of our Congress and being like, you can't do that. Tweet, 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 tweet. And like, girl, go there.
Somebody should just punch Chuck Schumer in the throat.
Man, I've heard so many people being like, well, Bernie Sanders is just an old man with a cane. Well, then fucking retire. Straight up, fucking retire. You can't do anything in the face of a coup. Retire. Sorry. You've been there fucking forever and you're rich. Retire. Move aside. Let somebody show up and actually do the work.
Go to your job and act insane.
Right.
You have nothing to lose. You have the money. You have the notoriety. Go to your job and be like, fuck this and fuck you on the Senate floor.
Right, exactly.
Fuck decorum.
Exactly.
Do you know how much of an icon you would be in American like annals of history if you're actually worried about your like reputation or whatever? You should be going nuts right now.
Mm-hmm. You know who people will talk about? AOC. One of the only people to be like,
Again, not perfect. No politician
no,
is perfect. Et cetera,
she's a bartender. I'm sure she has skeletons in her closet.
Well, I just also mean like, you know, whatever. I'm just saying we're not making the mistake of like idolizing like a fucking RBG situation where people are like, I dissent. It's like,
you don't stand politicians.
Fucking retire.
Yeah, you don't stand politicians.
But you can acknowledge when they do good work.
Right. They work for you. That's the whole fucking thing. You don't stand them. They're not pop culture icons. They fucking work for you. Yeah. And if they work effectively for you, you can say, good job.
Yeah.
I will continue to vote for you if we have fucking elections. I will give you money to do better things. Like,
so good job, JB Pritzker. Also, other rave. I've been listening to a lot of Doechii. Their album, Alligator Bites Don't Heal, I think is the name of it, is so good. I watched a lot of her performances. Her performance on Colbert, I will highly recommend. It's so good. She's got this like cool old school sound, but then also very modern and new. And her performances are so good. Like the music is good, but her performances take it to the next level. She won Best Rap Album this year. She's only one of 3 women to win it since 1989.
Jesus Christ.
She's fucking badass. And I think I watched like a TikTok video of her in like 2020, just like passively eating chips and being like, I got fired today. I think I'm just gonna take my like music to all these places and go to their office like I got nothing to use, and then lose, and then 40 years later she's winning a Grammy. That's incredible. That's incredible and cool. And I wish her all the best, and I can't wait for more music. And she's rad. And if you haven't listened to her, bug and listen to her. She's so good. She's so good. Anyways, JB Pritzker, Doechii,
you know,
holding it down. What is your rave?
I also have like two raves, two mini ones, sort of, that I'm going to smush together. My first rave is, I don't know how you would possibly know that we don't know that we do this show already, but we do a show called Extracts, and I love it. I'm so glad that we're back to recording. I'm so glad that we're back to like, I'm glad that I'm glad that Stella is back doing like the Instagram part of it with the clips, with the very funny transcripts. Like, it is just really nice to be engaging with this thing that I really love, and it's nice to be doing the prep and be having a really good time. Like, the next episode that we're recording, as of this recording, is Who Greenlit This, which is just like one of the worst episodes ever made of the X-Files. But right after that, we get to do one of my favorite ones. And so like, I'm stoked to record this weekend. I'm so glad that we're like committed to finishing out this 4th season. Like, it is just the best. It brings me a lot of joy, and it's really nice, even when I'm doing prep for one of the worst episodes ever.
I've seen stills from it, and I'm really excited about it.
Girl, I'll just tell you right now, it starts racist and it doesn't get better.
Oh, I'm less excited now.
Yeah, you should be prepared. It's a truly horrific episode.
Yikes.
It's bad.
See, people talk about Spock's brain like it's so bad, but it's bad. But it's like there's very funny moments in it, and Bones pops off in that one, and it's bad, but it's not. It's the easy one to say is the worst episode, but I don't think it is.
I like don't even want to tell you anything else. It's like it. It starts off with racism, and as you've seen from the photos you've seen, it somehow turns into a comedy episode. And
yeah, because the photos make it seem very silly.
It is. We'll get there. We'll get there on Saturday or on Sunday. But yeah, that's one of my raves. I'm really glad that we've reinvested in it. We've talked a lot about doing things for mental health and like what like small actions that we can take in order to not feel insane, like painting your bedroom, for example, or like doing prep for this show. Like I'm very glad to have something focused on that I'm not just like expanding and spiraling outwards about everything else that's going on. So like, that has been fantastic. I've really been happy to be doing it, and I'm really excited that people are engaging with it again. It makes me very happy. That's my first rave. And then my second rave is I fucking love therapy. Therapy's the best. I fucking love therapy. I haven't raved about how much I love therapy in a while. And like, I have just had some truly great sessions with my therapist, who I adore and is awesome. Like, it has just been really nice the last couple of weeks. I've come in and I've been like, things are pretty good. And the next time being like, I feel super weird and isolated and I don't know why. And then the next week being like, actually kind of fun again. Yeah. She's like, bipolar, okay, yes. Aware of this by this point. But like, it has just been really nice to go in and feel like I dealt with so much shit I didn't want to deal with in 24, and now in 25, it's been nice to talk to her like, yep, we're moving on. I was like, this thing I've been talking about for 7 months, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. She was like, cool. It's just been like, it's nice to have a therapist who's known me long enough that like understands what I've been going through for the last year and a half. And like, I went to visit my sister and my brother-in-law this weekend, and my brother-in-law was in therapy for a long time and had told me about it. It was like, I was one of the first people he told because he is conservative and comes from a very conservative family. He did not vote for Trump. He has 2 daughters and isn't a fucking idiot. And he has a wife. And we were talking about how he had stopped going to this therapist because he was like, I felt like I maxed out. I felt like I hit the end and that I wasn't getting anything. And I was like, well, that's what therapy is, right? Like, you get to the end, either you find someone new for something else that you're looking to go through, or you take a break and you're like, okay, I need to come back to this. And he was like, yeah, I've been kind of feeling like I need to come back, but I don't want the same therapist. And I was like, then don't go to the same therapist. And it was like a skylight had opened for him. It was just like, yeah, that's what therapy is. Like, yeah. I saw my therapist during the pandemic for like 2.5 years, and then after I gave birth, I was like, that's done. Like, she was fantastic. We had a goodbye, basically. She was the 60-year-old woman. It was lovely, but yeah, didn't need her anymore. Yeah, and like we had a therapist.
We had the same therapist.
Yes, we had the same therapist for a while, and like she was wonderful, but after a while, it was like, I can't afford this,
Yeah,
and also
I think
like,
she priced us both out.
yeah, and like that happens. She was a great therapist.
Yeah,
I
she was.
understand why and how it happened, but like it was both, I couldn't afford it anymore, and also at a certain point, it was like, I don't really want to go back to this because I'm a new person now, basically, and like. You said something to me. You can take this out if you want. You said something to me at the end of last year about I don't want to. I want to pull back from relationships of people who aren't in therapy, or like I don't want to be close with people who aren't in therapy, and
who clearly need it, right? Like there's
yes,
some
yes,
people
yes,
who are like,
yes.
you're like, yeah, it's fine, you're fine.
Yeah,
Or you don't interact with them on a granular level, so you're like,
yeah,
I don't give a shit.
absolutely. Like my sister is like that. This is fine. She won't give a shit that I say this, but my sister had cancer a couple years ago and went to a therapist. As like that was part of her treatment, is that she had to see a therapist. And she was like, I liked it, but I don't like talking about myself the whole time. And I was like, you can get different kinds of therapists, right? Like you could get someone who does like homework with you. You could have somebody who you're in conversation with the whole time. And I was like, you could also go to art therapy. Like, just be like a little kid. You can just draw. It's okay. Like, she was like, I didn't know that those were options. I was like, man, that makes me sad. Like, it makes me bummed out that so many people don't know how different and great therapy can be. It's just like the fucking best. I love therapy. Everybody should go to therapy. Everybody fucking needs it. It's the best. What media have you been consuming? I mean, we kind of talked about books. How was your shit horse girl book?
The problem with that book is that it's a classic, like, person inherits something from somebody that dies and then there's conflict, right? And so this girl inherits a horse farm, whatever. But the whole thing is like, she wants to be a wedding planner. She wants to open Immaculate Events is the name of her thing, which is a trash name for it, whatever. I have worked in the wedding industry for a really long time. I have run a venue. I have been a planner. I am a florist, whatever. I know how this wedding industry works everywhere because it's the same everywhere. And the moment she gets this horse farm, she's like, I don't know what to do. Oh, I'll sell it because then I'll have the thing to open up my my business. And the whole time I was just like, just have barn weddings. You live in upstate New York. Have barn weddings. Have barn weddings. Have barn weddings. And then, at the end, she decides to open up a venue at the horse farm that she owns.
And it's just barn weddings.
It's just shocking and in this day and age, it's shocking to be like, I just inherited a bunch of land. Woe is me.
I know, right? Get fucked.
In upstate New York. Jesus Christ. I was just like, the whole time I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. So stupid.
If I inherited a farm in upstate New York, I'd be like, who of my friends wants to come live in upstate New York?
Yeah, I might decide not to run the horse farm part.
Right.
I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm shutting the barn down, but I'm going to stay at this horse farm.
Mm-hmm.
That will just be a piece of land that I have.
Just be a huge piece of land that I own.
So stupid. So stupid. I mean, most of the media I've been consuming is... Oh, you know what? Obviously, I've been consuming Critical Role. Yesterday, Nick and I were at home, and I had to cancel my plans because my shingles pain was so bad. And my husband was like, I want to watch this yacht rock documentary. And I made fun of him a lot for it. And then it was a really good documentary. It was, I don't even know the name of it. It's on Max, and it's about yacht rock. And it's really good. If you like any type of music, it's like very granular and... It's very interesting. And then, like, I really like old man music. And so I was like, oh, I like most of the stuff. Though I don't really like Michael McDonald. And I don't dislike him as a human. I just don't really like his dumb voice. I saw him in concert this year with the Doobie Brothers. So I'm allowed to say whatever I want. And then afterwards, we're stupid. And we decided to watch Superman, which is the Christopher Reeves documentary. And I cried a lot. a lot. I was just like weeping the whole time. But it was a really well done documentary. So that's it. I mean, I'm always reading comics.
Obviously.
Reading comics as well. But yeah, those two. I don't watch a lot of TV or movies anymore because I don't know. I don't. But those documentaries were good. Shocked by how good the Yacht Rock documentary was.
That's very funny.
So
that sounds appealing.
What's your media?
I also don't really watch a lot of TV or movies anymore. Here's two. I'll give one quick one. If you haven't watched Severance and you like psychological dramas, you should fucking watch Severance.
It looks interesting.
It's so good. The second season just started and it's episodic. It comes out every week, which is... I miss regular TV.
Oh, see, that makes me not watch it because I'm like, I got to add it to my schedule.
Well, by the time you would watch it, the second season will be done anyway.
I want to watch things 100% on my own time. I like to come to fandoms many years after the show has ended.
That's fair. I often do that. I don't really like to watch any kind of TV anymore because I want to know it's done. I want to know it's finished, and I want to know nothing horrifying happened. Yeah. Like, it's just hard to be into things now because there's that. But Severance is one of the only things that my husband and I, like, we make time to watch it, like, every week. Even if it came out in a binge, like, when we watched the first season, it was already done. We still sort of set up that cadence anyway, so it was, like, an appointment between the two of us to do something, which was really nice. So cannot recommend Severance enough. It's very, very good. But what the one I was going to talk about is when I was, my only real recovery day, the day right after my tubal ligation, my husband was like, sit the fuck down. Read a book. Like, what are you doing? Stop doing laundry. And I was like, fuck, I can lift this. He's like, sit the fuck down. Go in the living room and sit the fuck down. And so I was like, well, what do I watch? Like, it was so weird to be like, I have the TV and all of our streaming services presented to me, and I have no fucking clue what I want to watch. It was just this very strange moment. And then my brain was like, you want to watch Singing in the Rain. And I was like, you're right. I do want to watch Singing in the Rain. And it was such a nice, like, comfort popcorn watch. Like, I love Gene Kelly. I love Singing in the Rain. Coming soon, maybe more on that. But, like, in that moment, I was like, I want to watch this thing I'm very familiar with and I don't have to, like, think super hard about. But I fucking watch with my eyeballs every single fucking second of that movie. And, like, there was stuff I noticed that I'd never seen before. And I've seen this movie 100 times. Like, it was just so... Because, like, I haven't watched it since Gene was born. So, like, 3 years ago. Like, to re-engage with something I knew that I loved, that I had been able to take an organic break from, was awesome. It felt so good. And again, I noticed stuff because I wasn't just, like, dialed into it all the time. Like, it felt so good to reach into my comfort pocket and be like, yes, this is exactly what I fucking needed. There were a couple of times where, like, the Singing in the Rain number, I was just, like, beaming. I was so happy to be watching it. Like, I just love Gene Kelly so much. I love that movie. It's the first camp movie, which is, like, another notch on how fucking awesome it is. Like, it's just a cultural touch point that gets forgotten now, and I just love it so much, and it's so fucking good. If you've never seen Singing in the Rain, absolutely do it. It is popcorn candy. And also, oh my god, what's her name? The woman Jean Hagen, who plays the antagonist female character, is incredible. The only Oscar that got nominated for was Jean Hagen as supporting, because they just gave Gene Kelly a Lifetime Award the year before. And then Singing in the Rain came out. It's crazy. Anyway, I love Singing in the Rain. It was nice to re-engage with that. I'm glad that my husband made me sit down.
You got a question?
Questions? All right, let's see. I wrote down one of the questions. I don't know why. We're going to figure it out.
They're singing the Rain.
I didn't mean to. I might have.
Wait.
Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see. I wrote down that we should do question 21, and question 21 is, how many cats is too many cats? Same question, but dogs, birds, and lizards.
I think that it vacillates wildly depending on the size of your home.
Yes, I would agree with that. Let's say...
the perfect number of cats is 3.
I would agree with that. And I don't think that matters, the size of your home. It just matters the size of your cats.
I'm just saying that the perfect amount of cats is 3.
All right, I'll accept that. What's the perfect amount of dogs?
1.
Some people prefer to have multiple dogs. I agree. I think 1 is the right
I don't
number.
know. It depends, because like Ginger was definitely like a 1 dog lady, but Killian was really friendly and lovey. And if they're in like a, I had dogs that were like, I actually, people probably would be shocked because I did have dogs growing up. I just am not fundamentally a dog person.
Yeah.
Again, so for me, 1, I don't know. I think all animals should have another animal, so minimum 2.
Yeah, and that's something that you can get small or medium-sized dogs too. Like
if you have the space and you want 2 big dogs, I really think that you should not have big dogs if you don't have the space for it.
You shouldn't have
definitely one of those people.
Yeah, you shouldn't have a big dog in an apartment. Basically, I don't think that it's unless you have an incredible backyard that's attached to your apartment.
Yeah, and if you're very diligent about it and you like. Because there are people that do that who like take them to doggy daycare and take them to dog parks and like that is their life and like so if you are doing what you should do then like I'm not gonna say you can't do it.
It's
but,
just
like,
difficult. You have to sign on to knowing it's difficult if you're in that kind of situation. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I feel like animals should have companions, so I would probably also get 2. How many birds is too many?
Any birds.
Any birds?
I don't like birds.
Okay, not for you, but say you walked into someone's home and
I would be like, can we have dinner somewhere else? I don't want to be around your bird. I don't like birds.
I'm just surprised.
I don't want them to disappear or anything, but I don't like them. They're weird. To have a bird with its creepy little beak in your house.
What bird are you thinking of?
All birds have beaks.
Yeah, but not all of them are creepy.
All beaks are creepy.
No, I fundamentally disagree with that.
I'm not a bird person.
That's so funny. I would say if you have like parakeets and they're like a wee little bird, 3. No more than that. It's
0
too hard.
birds.
It's too hard to clean the cage. Parrot, 1. That's it. That's an animal that doesn't need a companion. And also, have you ever seen a full-grown parrot?
0 birds.
They're the size of your torso. They're fucking big.
Yeah. And they live forever, so pass.
You know what lives longer than a bird? A lizard. How many lizards is too many?
Depends on the type of lizard.
Let's say it's an iguana.
I don't know. Are lizards social? I don't know about lizards.
Not really. You can have an iguana on its own, but like you can also put them together and they won't like kill each other. My best friend when I was a kid had iguanas. So like, and they get big.
I am uninterested in this part of the question.
You've never like walked into someone's house and seen like a reptile cage?
Yeah, but also like,
I think they're cool.
Is that life cool for them?
Well, I don't want to like have them in my own home.
Like cats and dogs can like move around with them, and birds you can even let out and fly around. But like,
yeah, you let the iguana out to like walk around your house. It's like a snake.
I mean, snakes are rad, but I don't think I would want to own them.
Yeah, they're a lot of work. I also would not want to own one.
Like cats and dogs are a lot of work, but I feel like, and this is just my opinion.
Feed them a live animal.
This is just my opinion. Everybody can have whatever animals they want, as long as they're not like monkeys, who kill people. I just think with cats and dogs, certain breeds that are truly domesticated, so like we've made them this way, so like we owe it to them to take care of them. Also, they're a lot of work, but they can play on their own and they can do a bunch of stuff. You can take them with you. What the fuck does a lizard do?
It's the same. It can be like a comfort companion. They love their owners. That's part of it, is they're very protective, especially as they get bigger. But they're sort of like, I mean, a cat isn't a one-to-one, but like, a shy cat who hides most of the day and then comes and hangs out with you. Like, it's the same concept. It's just a giant lizard.
It's a pass for me.
I get it. That's all right. How many snakes is too many? If you walk into someone's house and you're like, whoa, how many snakes is that?
I'm trying to judge people on their animals.
No. Their empty house is only full of these animals.
Well, I have other concerns at that point. I just want, for me, if I'm owning a pet, to like feel like I'm giving them stuff and they're giving me stuff. And I think the snakes are probably just like, what's up?
I had a friend when I was younger who had a oh my god, a python, I think.
And snakes are cute as hell.
Mm-hmm. And it was cool to watch her like interact with it, but it got so big to a point where it was like, well, you can't have another one. There's no fucking room. But also like, it's weird to watch it be like, oh, you're cute and little, to like, you could kill me. Like, I don't know if I want to spend the night in this house because I'm worried the snake might get out.
Yeah, I think for me, snakes and lizards are too close to that's a dumb thing to say because cats and dogs are animals. But like there's domesticated and like animals that are like now truly
exotic
bred.
pet, yeah.
I think they're too close to being like, if I let the snake out, it would probably be chill. It would be like, bye, I'm a snake.
Yeah. They for sure still have that instinct, especially if you're feeding them live mice.
Yeah. I know at a certain point, but it just feels, they feel too exotic and they feel like they should be outside and not in my home.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas,
certain kinds of snakes, you have to call the fire department.
Yeah. Hermia can't go outside. Hermia wasn't made for that.
Yeah, it's like my cat. Every time he tries to get out of the house, I yell, "You can't survive! You have no teeth!"
Yeah. Hermia doesn't even want to get out. She's just like, no. I have 3 cats now that are uninterested in running outside, which has been a blessing because Puck was like, I'll fucking leave.
I'll see you in hell.
Oh, man.
All right. That's it.
Cool. So in terms of like community action, whatever, I have my donations, etc., everything. But one thing that I did this month, and I did it recently, so I haven't put it fully into action, though I have had some people reach out. I was just thinking about what skills and stuff I have because I see people post like knit a sweater and like I'm learning how to knit, but I don't know how to do that. I can't make you shit. Like I can make you a couple lines in a row, and what are you gonna do that? I can make you a coaster. I don't think an unhome person wants a coaster. Do you know what I mean? So I was thinking about like what are the skills that I have that are valuable. And a skill that I have that is really valuable is I can take care of any kid any age. Period. I was a nanny for a long time. I was a preschool teacher. I was in charge of a preschool kitchen. I mean, some of my stuff is probably out of date, but like I done infant security infant security, hilarious. I've done infant CPR. I've been through all the DCFS stuff. Like I have held a baby that was born a week ago, and I have, hung out with a 9-year-old and kicked her ass at video games. I embarrassed her pretty hard. She was talking a lot of smack, and she deserved it. Do know that I will beat your kid at video games and rub it in their face. So like take that into account. But I'm in Chicago, we have like a burlesque like Facebook group that we, here's a show to audition to. Here's this, whatever. And I just posted in the other day and I was like, hey, I know that we don't all have kids. Some of us do. Childcare is really hard. I don't have the time to nanny, but if you give me enough, like I don't have short-term availability, but if you're like, hey, in a month, I have a show I'd really like to, we don't have childcare. Hit me up. I'll watch your kid for free. I don't give a fuck. And like,
nice.
I think, and like I said, I've had some people reach out with a really cute baby. I'm going to go hang out with her. But I think that is an important, like, because it's very easy to get wrapped up of like, okay, I got to volunteer. I got to do this. I got to do that, which is true. You should do all of that. Donate, all of that good stuff. But like, think about the skills you already have. Do you know how to knit? Fucking knit some stuff, right? Are you really good at, like, I had a friend who got hooked up with like, one of the like refugee sites, and she's a really good cook, and she was like, I'm just gonna make, I talked to the like people who run it, and they said this date, this time, this many people, and I made a bunch of food for them. Like I helped her drive it over. So like think about the skills that you already have and how you can use those skills is my suggestion.
That's smart.
Also, I get to hang out with some kids.
Yeah.
And kids are cool, so.
You like kids, you just don't like kids to be your whole job.
Yeah, I don't want kids to be my job anymore. Obviously, LOL, if I get pregnant and have a child, that will be my job in many ways, but
totally different.
That's part of the reason I stopped working in childcare. Also because you get paid like trash.
Yeah.
If you got paid well, I would still be a preschool teacher. 100%.
Yeah, you can't live off of it. It's impossible.
Even if you're a lead teacher with a master's degree, they pay you like trash.
Yeah, you can't do it.
And they're all privately owned and they're all dicks.
Yep. One of my sisters lives in New York and works in New York public school system, and like, ooh.
And see, public schools is even different. Like I worked for a lot of private daycares because daycares in this country are private. You would think for how much you get charged to put your kid there, that the teachers that work there would get paid well, and they do not. I mean, I haven't been a preschool teacher in a while, so like maybe they get paid better now, but I doubt it.
They do not.
I doubt it.
Nope, they do not. Ugh. My community action this month, inside of being puke nervous about getting a tubal ligation, couldn't do a ton of stuff, but I put this in our newsletter, I felt overwhelmed in a totally different way by the fires. There was just something about them that like we knew people who had to run. Like it was just an extraordinarily fucked up thing to be watching live. And so I just gave every time I saw something, it was like, throw some money to this, throw some money to that. I don't even care. Like, I put a bunch of resources in our newsletter about places that you could donate, because it was just like, I just felt so overwhelmed. It was like, all I can do is give money at this point. But then later, as I started to feel better, one thing that Michael and I are really good at, but hadn't been like intentional about where we were dropping stuff, is going through our house. And like, as a kid, you just get shit all the time. And so it's like a constant in out of things. And so we went through and specifically culled a bunch of his toys that were still in really good condition. He just didn't play with anymore. And we got all of those aside. We got some of our like tech equipment that we never used. We're like, fucking put this in here. Let's donate it. And then I gave a ton of clothes, and we went and specifically made sure that they were being dropped in places for refugees and immigrants. And so that's something that I was like, I should be doing more of this. Like, I'm very good at donating, but I'm not good about consciously putting like, because normally it's like, okay, well, there's a vintage store right next to me, or there's a, not a unique thrift village right next to me, and like, it's easier to walk over there and be like, here you go, which is great because I live in an area that also needs that kind of stuff. But it was nice to be like, okay, we can be intentional about this and make sure that we are giving this to people who in this moment need it the most. So that made me feel a lot better. There's something about only giving money that feels really hard and like not enough. I don't know. This is very strange feeling of like, I have so much poverty trauma that with my therapist, I've worked out a lot, but like, it's also strange to feel like I have enough money that I can give money, and that is a hard enough action for me in its own way, and yet it doesn't feel like enough. It's just a very difficult middle to sit in.
Being intentional about where you donate and time, money, and stuff is great. I also think specifically in this climate, like, what I've been doing is I have a bunch of recurring donations and I keep those up.
Yep.
But then every time I get paid, I try and find like a couple new, like, find a teacher who needs money for her classroom or whatever. But this month specifically, I've been finding like trans GoFundMes and things like that. Like, that's one of the most vulnerable communities right now. So like, directly giving to that type of stuff, like the GoFundMes that go to a person.
Oh yeah.
So I think, being conscious in your, it's hard because, like you said, it's easy to just be like,
which is
out of my house.
And it's like that. Doing that is good in its own way because it's good for like your mental health and shit like that. But like, there is definitely something about like, here's a good example of this. I have it's not antique, but it is old as fuck. It's a cradle that my mom used, that I used, and that Jean used, and like, I just kind of refuse to get rid of it. I don't want to just put it in the alley. I don't want to give it to fucking brown elephant. I love brown elephant. Don't want to say I don't love brown elephant, but like, those white hipsters don't need this. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need it. And so I've called a couple of like churches and immigrant sites, and it's like, I don't know how to explain to you that this thing is solid fucking oak and is like very sturdy, and it's like, I'm not just throwing some like
shitty thing,
right, exactly, that might not be up to code or whatever. It's like, no, I have this very I want to give this to someone who can use it and who needs it. And like, every place I've called has been like, whatever, or we don't really need this. It's like, I'm just gonna drop this at your door at some point. I have a church near me who's an immigrant refugee center, who's incredible. Their priest is I would not know that he was religious. You know what I mean? He's just like, seems like a super fucking good dude. So I'm just gonna show up one day and knock on the door and be like, can I please give this to you?
That's funny. Yeah.
All right, state of the world sucks.
Yep. But, joy is only resistance if you're resisting things, I would like to say also.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to be doing the resisting part to then take time for joy. You can't just be like, joy is resistance and not be doing anything. I would just like to say that out loud.
I agree. And also, like, not in a shitty way, but like, if you just do not have the capacity to do resistance, as some groups who are being deeply attacked may just not have the
100%.
But like, that's okay to feel joy. And like, even if you're not one of those very targeted and attacked groups, it's okay to feel joy and to seek out joy. But specifically saying that joy is an act of resistance when you're not really doing any other resistance, that's when it's bad.
Yeah. Specifically if you're just like a white person being like, joy is resistance. And it's like, shut up. Do something.
what are you doing to help democracy? I don't know, motherfucker, what are you doing to help democracy?
Don't ask me. And you can always do more.
Yeah, exactly. God knows.
Yeah. And again, I know me and Erin talk a lot about how we donate money. We are acknowledging the privilege that we have, so we're using it.
Absolutely.
Though we work hard too. It's not like
and again, like there is a weird middle to sit between like even being able to give that amount of money is like a mental barrier I have to get past. But as an active citizen, it feels like not enough. Personal, private.
yeah. It's all crazy. Do what you can. Don't do what you can't. Don't burn yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Only consume 5 minutes of news a day. 5 to 10 minutes. More than 10 minutes will hurt you. Don't do it.
That's wild. Also, don't do it in the first 2 hours that you wake up. Just don't do it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Because, like, it's going to be
Stop
there.
Stop listening to NPR when you wake up.
Yeah, I need to.
You're a hypocrite for saying that.
Girl.
I wake up to the Star Trek Discovery theme song every day, and it's a joy.
Yeah.
Because people can bitch about disco all they want, but the theme song slaps. It like gently builds and then is swelling and sweeping and inspiring. It's an excellent ringtone.
When I play it from my phone, I have Vince Guaraldi, and so it's like jazz that gets louder. Of course, that because I'm 100 years old. Oh my god. Okay, very, very end tag.
You're just gonna talk about your glasses.
For people who've made it this far in the podcast, Stella said she's old because she has fucking shingles. I need fucking bifocals. I went to my optometrist appointment the day after my tubal ligation because I forgot to cancel it. And she was like trying so gently to be like, well, did you notice how you could see far away with one prescription and you could see closer with a different prescription? And I was like, are you telling me I need bifocals? And she was like, well, you could use readers for this or you could do that or you could get bifocals. And I was like, just give me the fucking bifocals. It's gonna happen eventually. She was like, I'll give you the transition ones so that you just have to raise your head and there won't be a line. And I was like, well, I'm getting the line eventually anyway, so I appreciate it, but like, I'm fucking old. I get it.
I want to go to your eye doctor. I don't like my eye person.
She's wonderful. She's a Muslim woman who wears a hijab and is just like the sweetest lady I've ever met. She's younger than us.
Yeah, I need a different optometrist because like my prescription doesn't change that much, but it changes enough that I want to be aware of it. But I don't necessarily need new glasses every year. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the place I go really fucking pushes stuff on me, and I am weak. And I am like, I guess, I don't know. And I don't need new $1 million glasses. I just need somebody to tell me what my prescription is.
Mm-hmm. She's great. I ordered my contacts through her because it's easy to do that. And then she just gave me she didn't even ask. She was like, here's your prescription, fucking whatever. I was like, am I reading this correctly?
That's funny. That's funny. Okay, let's stop talking.
Okay, fantastic. Have a Wednesday. Bye.
Have a Wednesday. Bye.